Do you believe you witnessed every moment of Kim Soo Hyun's dramatic press conference? Rethink your thought. Most people were oblivious to the troubling indicators that were concealed under the tears, the apologies, and the well-chosen words. This was more than simply a news conference, it was a performance, as evidenced by his body language and the startling holes in his statement. And we're dissecting everything today. You won't be able to speak after what he didn't say, so stay to the very end. After being at the center of a controversy that rocked Korea for weeks, Kim Soo Hyun finally spoke out. Instead of clearing the air, his press conference left more questions than it did answers. You could sense the tension as soon as he entered the room. Wearing a dark suit, his eyes were swollen and his face was exhausted. This was a man under a great deal of pressure, not the self-assured performer we usually witness. Despite the large number of reporters there was no commotion or frantic camera movements, nothing but quiet, suspicious looks, an atmosphere so dense that a knife could cut through it. He wasted no time in taking the microphone. He began by apologizing, but not in the way that everyone had anticipated. I want to start by saying I'm sorry. My actions have caused a great deal of sorrow for others, and it pains me to know that the dead cannot rest in peace. His statements immediately established the mood. He was expressing regret, but not for anything in particular, just for the suffering, not for what he did, not for his part in the scandal. And that's where the first warning sign showed up. Why the evasive apology? Was he making an effort to appear sorry without really taking responsibility? Then he started referring to Kim Se-ron as the deceased, instead of by her name. For some, it was a sign of respect. Others interpreted it as a lack of emotion, as if he was purposefully avoiding contact. There were other things that seemed strange as well. He was cautious in his response until he eventually answered the most important query. Did they date? Too cautious. The deceased was not a minor when I dated her. We had a typical relationship. After meeting and developing affection for one another, we eventually split up. Although he took sure to state that nothing unlawful occurred, he omitted everything else. No dates, no schedule. There were no specifics concerning its duration or severity. It was merely a generalization that raised questions. He referred to it as, like any other relationship. That was chilly. He seemed to be downplaying everything. What's the most telling, though? His justification for first concealing the relationship. I was constantly concerned about preserving what I had created. I was terrified of getting hurt or losing something, and as a result, I ran around and denied things for too long. To put it another way, he remained silent to safeguard his job, his picture, his agreements. For a celebrity, that may seem reasonable, but it also begs the larger question. What was he really hiding if he was so terrified of the truth being revealed? Then the tears started to fall. His voice broke in the middle. His eyes widened. Trying not to panic, he wiped them off. The issue is that Kim Soo Hyun is among the top actors in Korea. A man whose poignant performances have moved millions, people to tears. The internet was split when the tears flowed. Some thought his suffering was genuine. Some referred to the performance as Oscar-worthy. It was too well timed. The feelings were overly restrained. And it's difficult to avoid wondering if this was a sincere act of regret or a ploy to gain sympathy when you contrast it with his dramatic plays. However, he changed course just as everyone believed the conference was coming to an end. The tone abruptly became firm after being contrite and tearful, even aggressive. I will take strong legal action against malicious rumors, defamatory posts, fake news, and destructive comments. This served as a warning, a danger. He was playing the victim, and now he was attacking. And that change? It wasn't a coincidence. It was a plan. Show strength to ward off critics after displaying vulnerability to win sympathy. What he still hasn't done, though, is to discuss Kim Se-ron's suffering. Not at all. He never described the impact their relationship had on her, never exhibited genuine compassion. Only threats of legal action and evasive apologies. What then was this news conference about? To get the air out, or to steer the story? One thing is evident from the tears, the deliberate words, and the unexpected aggression. Kim Soo Hyun wasn't merely speaking from the heart. His career was on the line. Korea also took notice. Although every second was reported by the media, opinions differed. It was referred to as honest by some. Some referred to it as a show. One thing is certain, though. This scandal is far from done. Because if this press conference demonstrated anything, it is that the whole narrative is still unknown. And until we do, the rumors, the uncertainties, the conjecture will just intensify. What do you think then? Was this a practiced show or a sincere apology? Comment below with your thoughts, and remember to watch through to the very end for one last unsettling detail you most likely missed.